the difference.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel.
The Canadian quote.
Listen to Rick Rule,
physical uranium
probably my favorite investment teacher. I would have to, definitely my favorite investment teacher. Rick Rule has just been for a decade just an amazing, longer than that. He did things that were involved in my college education that changed the trajectory of my entire life course, actually. So when Rick speaks, I always listen, and now that he's constantly on YouTube, it's I just gotta take in as much Rick Rule content as I can. He's got a conference coming up in July, Boca Raton. I will be there. So I think tickets for that are still available. I would recommend it if you're into that space. Resource investing. I think Doug Casey's going to be there. It's another favorite of mine. All those types in that in that world. I've been thinking through this idea, and I don't know if it's possible. I want to hear from you guys in the comments, big time on this one. I don't know if it's possible yet, or what the difficulties and challenges would be. Let's put it that way. Of running a company, a startup, exclusively on Bitcoin. And I say Bitcoin because it's the daddy of cryptos. I have issues with the public blockchain nature of it, but running a company, it makes a lot of sense. Everything's out in the light. You can see the wallets, whatever would be the company wallets. Here's what the clients paid us. Here's what was paid out in our supply chain. Here's what was paid out to employees. I mean, lifetime automated accounting is possible in Bitcoin. Now, the price fluctuations in USD and the ratio between Bitcoin and USD would make that difficult, being that we live in a USD world, or I live in a USD world. I have issues with USD. I still think it's one of the better currencies out there, because though our elites do print a ton of them all the time, and cause all sorts of inflation, it's still a relatively stable fiat currency, and it comes with a good a decent court system, comes with Navy SEAL teams, comes with military, comes with sanctions, comes with the Federal Reserve Bank, largest one in the world, comes with some perks. So I'm not against that as a currency, and I've been using it my entire life, although I do now take a lot of my a lot to most, and I get out of it, and I buy silver mainly, some gold, a lot of silver. It's just so cheap, and I buy Bitcoin with it, and I buy private crypto with it, mainly Monero, and and assets, physical assets, trucks, tractors, land, agriculture stuff like that. But I wonder what the challenges would be of running a strictly crypto-only business entity. Now, I've thought through this, and I've thought, it's got to be something as far as a transitional period. Of course, it could work 30 years from now, 20 years from now, if you're living in a crypto world. But how would you do it now if you're living in a USD world, but you want to differentiate your organization or startup by only and strictly creating the parallel economy? Now, I have said this for a while. I've said this actually publicly at a conference in Dallas a year or two ago, that the solution here is you got to have a parallel economy. That's the solution. And it was being videoed, but then it was what Travis is saying is pretty real, so we're just not going to video it. But I think everyone in the room really appreciated it, and the feedback I got was yeah, Trav, what you're saying is not wrong. And essentially what I'm saying is, if you want change, you got to defund these type of people. And you got to defund people that gain power through the US dollar system. Now, that real power comes from the oil that was backing it previously with the deal we had with Saudis, which now Russia has taken. People didn't notice this a year ago when they signed those deals, those protection deals. Essentially, the US is a mob racketeering effort or organization, and it's got a good brand. It's a good gang. Essentially, it's a good thug outlet. But it's no different than Babyface, Babyface Floyd, or Bonnie and Clyde, or in that those people were arguably more ethical than the U.S. gang of thieves. So I think through this and I go, well, what's the solution? Well, the solution is probably doing everything out in transparency and getting into a fixed currency. And I love the idea of transacting in silver and gold. There's ways to digitalize it. I'm looking at companies that are actually digitalizing silver and gold on the blockchain and then making it easy to transact with, coming in and out of. You got an app, you can sell for the USD, you can sell for this currency, you can spend it on your card, you can ship it, you can have it shipped to your plate, you can go physical, you can go digital. There's a lot there. I think that the blockchain is a cool technology. I think putting silver and gold on top of the blockchain, you still have a third-party custody issue, who's going to hold it, that type of deal. But Bitcoin, we don't have that problem. We don't have to transport it. We don't have to. There's no settling. There's no third party in the transaction. And I wonder how this could be used. So here's my speculation. It would have to be a business that has almost no cost in their supply chains, meaning software company. I've got a program I want to sell it for 100 USD a month. Okay, well, what's that in Satoshis? I could fixed rate it. Okay, if it fluctuates around, Satoshis go up by 50%, down by 50%, I could make that adjustment. So in my opinion, now, if I'm building trucks and I've got to pay a tire manufacturer, I got to pay an engine manufacturer, I got to pay a transmission and I don't build it all in-house myself, I could see that being a problem, right? Because now I got to throw the Satoshis down the supply chain, and if they've got to sell, and this is what I like about Bitcoin, is it's one of the most liquid markets in the world. I mean, you can go to any exchange and sell it for dollars anytime you want. It's not a problem. So if you want liquidity, I mean, you can hit me up as a Miles Franklin broker, dealer in metals, and I can take Bitcoin and sell you silver and gold. I mean, so the possibilities there are, I mean, it's very liquid for whatever you want. So I like what I see there. But I wonder, okay, if I wanted to build a business that strictly only used Bitcoin, what would be the issues down the road? Now, I got to send it down in circulation. So I got to find vendors that will accept my Bitcoin, or I have to be okay selling it and then going into USD to buy what I need. I don't like that so much. So I'm thinking through this process. I want to hear from you guys. I've got a lot of ideas on this. I don't know if any of them are good. But I think that it lends itself well to farming and agriculture activities. Something where you have a lot of upfront cost, something that you might even, a lot of upfront costs, let's say, or one-time upfront costs. But then the variable costs, the variable gains, are relatively low cost, and you can take your supply chain completely in-house. Let's use chickens and eggs, right? Once you own the chicken, you own the infrastructure that the chicken lives in. I've done some videos on different ideas to get people thinking about this. But when you do that, okay, now it's, how do you feed it? Well, I got a supplier, I have a vendor. Well, if I can make my own grain, well, now I can reproduce additional chickens. Well, now I can make my own grain with no input costs, and I can make my own chickens. Now the input cost is labor, and if the laborer is okay being paid in Bitcoin or prefers to be paid in Bitcoin, and that laborer can go to an exchange to sell their Bitcoin whenever they need to get USD if they need it, well, great. But as far as the company is concerned, we only transact in Bitcoin. It's just an idea, and I really need to hear from you guys. I've been thinking through this. I approached Jack at Nobody Special Finance in an email. He was like, yeah, I've thought about this too. He actually was kind of thinking around the ag thing. So let me know in the comments, guys, and I will see you on the next video.